Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I wanted to do not a dupe video but almost like an alternative version for a palette that I have been eyeing on and it's currently out of stock. So it made me look into a discontinued palette from Coastal Scents, which is the 252 Ultimate Palette eyeshadow colors, and it looks like this. And I bought this actually through eBay from a seller who didn't want it anymore, and it has like every color of a spectrum that you could think of, and it made me look into this palette to create an inspired look from the palette that's out of stock, which is called, it's from Menagerie Cosmetics, and it's the Whalesong eyeshadow palette, and it looks something like this right here. And so this palette is retailed for $29, and I have heard really great reviews about the palette, but unfortunately I don't really have the money to be spending almost $30 for an eyeshadow palette. So I thought I went ahead and looked through here to create like an inspired look from that palette, and it took a lot of research to actually mix in eyeshadows to create similar vibes of what that palette has. And I'll insert swatches here to reference the eyeshadows that I tried finding alternative versions of that same palette, but these are all from Coastal Scents except one eyeshadow, which is from the Zodiac Beach Cosmetics palette. Looks like this. Basically, I found alternative shades that would be similar to the Whalesong palette, which is what I'm trying to say. And which is really great news is that Coastal Scents put in eyeshadow colors that already exist in their hot pots, which are single eyeshadows. And I'm not sure how much those are retailed, but they're not no more than $5 or $6. So if you really like a similar shade from the Whalesong palette, you can find a similar dupable shade in Coastal Scents. And so now what I'm going to be doing is just pointing out shades I found from Coastal Scents to similar shades from the Whalesong eyeshadow palettes. So if you want to see that, then keep on watching. Okay, so for this one, in the Whalesong palette, it's called Pearl, but I found a similar shade that in the Coastal Scents palette is called White Silver, mixed in with a little of aluminum taupe. The next shade in the Whalesong palette is Plankton, which is this shade right here. And from the Coastal Scents palette, I found it in the shade Hoppin Jalapeno. So the next shade is called Fluke. And in Coastal Scents, I found a similar alternative with Azure Frost. The next eyeshadow is cetacean, which is this one right here. It's a pearl wrinkle color. And with Coastal Scents, I mixed in the eyeshadow called Sailaway, Snow Bunny, and celandic. So the infamous shade from the Whalesong palette is an eyeshadow called Whalesong. And so the Coastal Scents eyeshadow that I found of this one is mixing capriblue and blue zircon together to create this one. So the next eyeshadow is called Dive, and from Coastal Scents I mixed in Snow Bunny and Capriblue. So the next shade is called Breaching, and in Coastal Scents a similar shade to that one is Indigo Dream. So the next shade is called Barnacle, and I mixed in with Coastal Scents tanzanite with a little bit of Capriblue. So the next shade right here, it's called Bubble Net, and in Coastal Scents I found the shade in Pine Hurst. So this one was really hard to find, but I somehow found a dupable metallic shade. This was from the Zodiac Beach Cosmetics, and I mixed in, so this one is the shade Splash and Whalesong palette, and in the Zodiac I mixed in Sagittarius and Aries together to create this one. So the next one is Kelp, and I mixed in with Coastal Scents Prehistoric Green and Phantom Green. And in the last shade called Reef and the Whalesong palette, I found an alternative similar shade with Coastal Scents called French Chive. So those are all the similar shades I found in that palette, with the Zodiac palette as well, with this shade right here. And I just am really happy about creating a similar eyeshadow look without actually having to buy that out of stock palette, because first of all, I'm saving money, and I thought this would be really helpful for someone out there who really wanted the palette but doesn't have the money to actually purchase that palette. Because nowadays I heard that a lot of beauty companies are doing afterpay, and I could say that people could possibly be losing money out of that method. But in a way, I just don't know anyone's finances situation. But like, if you really had the money, you would pay full price of it at that moment. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that helped someone, at least one person. I just thought that because it was out of stock, I would do something similar to this, and overall I'm really happy with this color scheme that I created. Oh, and so one thing I did mention while I was doing the swatches here, like pointing out each one, I had to mix certain eyeshadows to get a certain color vibe, just to get a similar look with the Whalesong palette, because obviously this shade right here, for example, this one, which was called Cetacean, and I had to mix 3 different shades to create that eyeshadow color, but it would create like artistic creative mode to see what colors go with what. And I actually used my Wet n Wild, this little sponge thing that's glitter, to mix in the eyeshadows, so I wasn't like dipping one eyeshadow to the other, because that would be completely messy. I just dipped in one shade here, and then I got another one, dipped it there, and then mixed it all together in here, not in the actual palette. So I thought that would be something to point out because obviously I don't have a lot, like this shade right here was hard to come out with, but I figured mixing it together with the Sagittarius and Aries, it completely did get the look I was going for. So thank you so much for watching. God bless, and hoping everyone stays really cool out there because currently right now in LA, California, we're gonna have another heat wave, and this is just the beginning dates of it. So hopefully it goes by really quick. Okay, thank you and bye.